Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. In this segment, we'll be talking to the Program Director of and the Chief Executive Officer of the President's CNG CNG. We've all heard about CNG, and the President of the CNG Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, is with us right here in the studio. He will be discussing the Presidential CNG Initiative Program in the Office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All right, so Mr. Oluwagbemi, we are in the new age. The conversation now concerning energy and managing the cost of energy has moved into CNG. What exactly should people know? Break down what CNG means to someone who has just been hearing the acronym or does not know anything about it.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me on your show. I have to say that for most people, they know that when they hear gas, what comes to their mind is cooking gas.
Yes.
Yeah, that's their first interaction with gas. Well, CNG is natural gas. It's not cooking gas. Two different types of gases. Yes. So cooking gas is LPG.
Yes.
That one is liquefied petroleum gas. That comes from refining. So when you see your refinery, the gas that comes as a result of refining is what is LPG, and that's what you use to cook. But CNG, as the name implies, compressed natural gas. The natural there means is gas comes directly from the ground. So it's not a product of refining.
Oh, wow.
So it could come from when you're drilling. Yeah.
I don't understand. So I have converted my generator to gas.
Yes,
and
right.
it's
LPG.
the same cooking gas.
LPG, exactly. Different from natural gas.
That means can be shit.
Very different. Yeah, exactly. So natural gas occurs naturally, either associated with crude oil or not associated with crude oil. So that's NAG, non-associated gas, or associated gas. So it's either it's associated with crude oil or not crude oil. Or sometimes, even your when you have heap of refuse, methane, that's natural gas.
Oh, wow.
So
there are many options for us to get CNG.
Yes. So there's bio-CNG, which is the one that comes from the waste. There's non-associated, there's associated. But ultimately, they are all from nature. It's lighter than air, safer. And the way we store it and we convey it in what we call bulletproof cylinders, not the type of cylinders you use for cooking gas, different.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it's seamless and it's bulletproof. And as a result, because it's lighter than air, so imagine it's breached. Somehow it's breached. But it quickly dissipates.
Evaporate.
Unlike LPG. LPG is heavy. So it settles, and that's why it can explode.
Wow.
Two different,
Amazing.
I like the fact that it comes from waste. Some of it.
Bio-waste,
because we have a lot of waste.
Absolutely. If you've seen sometime those waste, they go on fire naturally. That's because of methane, like you said. So methane, that's natural gas.
So she's our environmental.
She's an expert.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just an environmental advocate, so I'd like to hear about green fuels. But we're here because we want to talk about the Presidential Initiative.
Yes.
Could you explain to us what this initiative is about and how it will impact us, Nigerians?
So it's, imagine last year, May 29, the president said, okay, subsidy is over. What that meant immediately for almost all of you here was that you were paying more for transportation. Transportation affects everything. Food, it affects even the cost
Inflation,
of everything. Right. But the president said, look, it doesn't have to be more expensive. Why? We don't have to use PMS. We don't have to use diesel. Nigeria has something in abundance that is much cheaper and more reliable, safer and cleaner, you the environmentalist, than PMS and diesel. And that's what it is. Natural gas, Nigeria has natural gas everywhere. We have the biggest reserve.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
In Africa. One of the 7th largest in the world. And we burn it. We are we are the 2nd largest flare after Russia. So why are we burning what is so important and cheap for our people to use? So the president said, look, fine, I'm going to set up this initiative. We need to help Nigeria convert. The good thing is that your existing vehicle can run on natural gas.
Good.
With just a simple conversion kit in them. They can run on natural gas. The reality is that vehicles actually run on gas. That's why if you in the United States, they'll say, go and gas up your car. Yeah, because it's actually gas, internal combustion engine is gas that shoots into the piston that drives your engine. So what happens is that the reason why we use liquid, we use PMS and diesel is because they're easy to convey and store. And then it goes into your tank, and then it gets converted and shoots to gas.
When Labour had protested the removal of subsidy, that was when I started hearing it will kick off, and the dates have continued to shift.
Yeah.
You know? Then we have been wondering conversion will take place of 3,000 cars. Conversion kits are coming in, 3,000.
Yes.
Where
is it? No, it's good. You know, the taste of the pot in the says in the heating, right? So, of course, sometimes you're women, you know, and I'm a womanist. I'm very comfortable in this. You know, I'm a boy among two girls. That's
okay.
So I'm very comfortable in the kitchen too. And you know that in the kitchen it takes time to cook. If you just make food and we rush it out, number one, it might not taste well. And number two, even if it tastes well, it might hurt you. So we have been cooking this initiative. So that's the answer. But where we are now, we've begun to distribute conversion kits. Yesterday in Kaduna, we had a large program where we actually distributed kits.
For free? Or
yes, to commercial. So we are implementing a program. It's very basic. If you think about it, that in Nigeria there are about 12 million vehicles. About 10 million of them run on petrol. But 1 million out of that 10 million is responsible for conveying 90% of people. Mass transit.
Good.
So in terms of impact.
Exactly. So that's where we are starting from. So we are saying, okay, instead of even telling you to pay to convert, because Nigeria is already subsidizing your way of moving around, be it as it may. Opportunity cost, right? Today, we buy petrol in Nigeria, even maximum 750, maybe 800. Farthest north of Nigeria. But if you go to Cameroon, go to Niger, go to Benin, 1,600, 1,700. So we are paying an opportunity cost for using PMS. So we are saying, okay, take that opportunity cost, invest part of it, and let's give this conversion kit for free for these people that use the most PMS.
Okay.
And so we are doing what we call a conversion incentive program for NURTW members, RITIA members, even ride shares, your Bolt, your Uber, they can get 50% off here. But the guys that are commercial in NURTW, the unionized side, they get 100% free. And so we started that program last week. We are doing, in fact, tomorrow we are having a big conversion rally in Lagos here.
So that we will avoid the place.
I think you should join.
It's going to be at the Motor Park tomorrow. And we start at 12. NURTW, RITIAN, and NATO, the major unions in transport, they will all be joining us there. And we'll be giving them 300 vouchers tomorrow. And the idea is we'll start this, and in the next 2-3 weeks, we're even expecting more arrival of more kits and cylinders.
Because I wanted to say
limitation factor. Yes, no, it's not. Our goal this year is 250,000.
Okay.
But
this year.
But that is, in fact, one of the highest goals or any target for conversion in the world. We've seen other countries do it, Iran, Egypt, Argentina. Typically, first year, they manage 40,000, 50,000.
Okay.
But we're trying to get to 50,000. And we think we can get there.
How many have you done so far?
So far, because we just started last week, we are about 2,000-3,000 so far.
Okay.
But we are ramping up. So we are adding, like I said, we were cooking. In cooking, we needed to say, okay, what are the infrastructure necessary for conversion? Number one, you need conversion workshops. When we started last year, we only had 7.
Okay.
Now we have about 122, 123 thereabouts today.
Okay.
And we are now onboarding more. Those conversion workshops are specialized mechanic workshops where you actually have to do this conversion. We needed to train technicians. We needed to make sure there are safety standards. We needed to make sure that even the gas is available. So we are where we are now. We think we are comfortable. We can now.
So what would be the idea for maybe every state you're hoping these centers, like how many conversion centers per state are you looking at?
It depends on the traffic intensity, right? Okay. So you will, in Nigeria today, there are about 3 primary transport corridors. Because again, transportation, like the name implies, it's about moving. It's not, people think about it, people talk about it as if it's cities. No, it's actually corridors, right? So in the number 1 corridor, of course, is the Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, Ilorin corridor. That's a major corridor, right? Then we now have the Lokoja, Abuja, Nasarawa, Suleja, Kaduna, Kano corridor. Then we now have the Uyo, even maybe extended to Calabar, Uyo, Port Harcourt, Aba, Onitsha, Asaba, Benin corridor. Okay. So there are 3 major corridors. And along these corridors, you are covering 90% of the vehicles moving in Nigeria.
Major public transport.
90%.
Moving interstate.
Yeah. So if I'm able to cover 90% moving people, so I call it 90 plus 90 equals to 90. If I cover mass transit and along these corridors, I will have covered 90% of moving people in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay, so are you also training mechanics? Because we know that some of the mechanics, they are used to petrol, this thing. Are you also training for them to be able to use the...
Absolutely.
Also, is there a major change in the vehicle when you convert from CNG? Because mechanics understand how to fix a vehicle that runs on petrol.
Yes.
But would it be a major difference in when it starts running on CNG?
So first is that training have started from day one.
Okay. So you guys recruited some of the mechanics?
Yes. So we actually worked with 10 conversion workshops. And we mandated 10 of them to train 50 technicians each. And so far, they've done about 250 across Nigeria, but they are doing more. 2 days ago, we also signed an agreement with the Ministry of Labour. They have MOMTAN and NATA, 2 critical mechanic and technician associations under them. They are nominating another 500 for training with the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology. That are the institution that, prior to this, been doing the research and development ready for this moment, right? So we are putting them together. So between them, we'll have about 1,000 trained. And then we hope private sector is already doing some training. Bovas is doing some, even NIPCO is doing training, ABG, BIAX, all these participants in the sector are doing their own training. We'll get about at least 1,500 technicians this year through that. Now, in terms of, does this change your vehicle? Not much, because like I told you, your vehicle uses gas. That's the way cars run. That's the way they are designed to run. They use gas. The only difference is that the energy that you used to power the vehicle prior to this was liquid. So you needed to convert from liquid to gas.
Straight up.
That's the way you used to do. Well, now we are bypassing that and saying now we're going to use gas directly. So what you are doing is that you're putting a gas cylinder and you're creating that bypass and going straight to the piston to inject. So if you see a conversion kit, it's a very simple cylinder, a bunch of tubes that pass it, and then that goes to an injector, ECUs, and then they inject directly to the engine. So not much is changing.
When we buy petrol,
yes,
and something, there's this thing they call the petrol engine filter, this liquid that you sell at most of NNPC filling stations.
Yeah. You don't need it anymore.
With this, does it make our engine last longer?
Yes,
we don't need to
you don't need it anymore. Yes, because now, because before...
Yeah, because of the mode of transportation.
Because for now, what you are now doing is that...
Let me just take this call and then you can answer, expatiate what you were trying to do. Adela was called in from Magboro. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Good morning, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I want to welcome the Presidential CNG Initiative Director, Mr. Michael Oluwagbemi, for a job well done. I want to thank him. But if the cost of transportation comes down, that is when inflation will come. I want to encourage him to help us inform the President that we want all these buses to come into town and be distributed to the state so that we can have ease of transportation and the government will help us bring down inflation. And we also want trucks to be converted easily because most of the farmers have been complaining that the reason why the price of goods are going up is because of cost of transportation. Please, we are expecting that the government will do the needful and so that quickly the hardship the masses are feeling will be a thing of the past.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adelowo. So, what you were already explaining was concerning the fact that it would not. So, I'd like you to finish that, then I'll talk about the economic impact.
Yes. So, your current fuel you're using is as high content of sulfur soot, as you know.
Yeah.
So when you burn anything, you leave residues. All right. You burn the liquid fuel, you have the residue, which is what goes into your engine filter that gets that black oil. But now we're not burning anything. You're just going straight as gas directly to the engine. So you bypass that process. So your gas filter will, fuel filter now, will last longer. Because you are not, the reality, why you still will have it, right, is because these vehicles are becoming bifuels. They are now dual fuel. When you do conversion, you are not eliminating PMS. Right? Because you are still...
have backup.
Yeah, so you have a backup, exactly. So because our infrastructure is still far and in between. So we want to make sure that, okay, you don't have range fright. So if at some point your gas runs out and you're in the middle of somewhere where you can still use your, automatically switches seamlessly.
Switches on
Seamlessly.
Wow.
And you will not even hear a sound change. No, it's after a while you realize, oh, I've run out of CNG, I'm now on PMS, right?
So the question that the caller Adilowo asked is a question that is top on people's minds because we know that the cost of food was heavily impacted by the cost of transporting those foods. But I'm sure you've done research, so I want to break down the question more. By your statistics, how many of the trucks carrying food rely on petrol and diesel, and are you going to be converting both petrol and diesel? And based on your projection, when do you think we'll start seeing the impact of cost of food going down because the cost of transportation of those foods have gone down?
We'll moderate. So we have looked into it. A considerable... We are still a petrol country, by and large. We're very much a petrol country. Like I said, 12 million, just 10 million is petrol, 2 million is diesel, right? Most of the diesel are heavy duty, but they do the long haulage. So if you see the big tubers of yams being transported in long haulage, cow, cattle, as a farmer, I know this myself. I mean, that's how we move over the long haul. But the short ups are where we actually feel that transportation impact even more. Because the long haulage, they've already priced and there's much bulk, so they divide it by the number of stuff you're carrying. So the impact is there, but it's not as dramatic as when you now start breaking bulk. When you start breaking bulk, you now move the last mile, and then you are using IS buses to move food, right? And they are using, these guys, these IS buses are 15 to 20-year-olds, so they even consume more petrol than they should ordinarily be using. So we saw that that's the area where the impact is most. But and also the second thing was diesel conversion is a lot more technically complicated than PMS. You know, PMS is more straightforward. It's easier to do. So for us, we made the option that, okay, we'll first start with PMS. Now we will get to diesel retrofit, we call it, because we've looked at the different options. I was okay, retrofit makes sense for the big trucks. And there are companies that are already doing it. Even
diesel retrofit?
Yes, retrofit. So instead a retrofit of the engine. So in diesel conversion, they still will use diesel and CNG side by side. You know, like petrol, when you do conversion, you will use your petrol at one point, you use your CNG at one point, you run out, then you go. But in the case of diesel, you are injecting both at the same time.
Because of the type of engine.
Yeah, because of the type of engine. And you need that torque. Yes.
Let me take Kehinde from Abuja, then you would answer the other question about the financial impact. Kehinde, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. I am having listener to your program from Abuja.
We're excited to have you.
I'm calling him.
Oh, welcome to the show, first-time caller.
Thank you so much. I want to celebrate the Director General. He's been doing a very good work in recent times. I see the proof. I've watched him in China, watched him in Arise TV.
You have been going around.
Talk to Nigeria, I've seen that effort in recent times. I have 3 questions to ask, sir. The first question is, this conversion does still have anything to do with the year of production of the car? That's the number 1. Number 2, can we have cost implications to see, is it what the average Nigerian can afford?
It's not
That's number 2. Then number 3, how readily available are your centers across the nation? Like, okay, someone like me in Abuja, I think I only know of 2 centers in Abuja where to do that. So those are the few things I have to ask. You ladies are doing well. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Kehinde. So you're going to answer the question concerning...
Yes, the question on the impact in terms of finance on the people. We expect that currently today, a kg of CNG goes for 230 naira.
Wow.
Yes, so and your savings is between 40 and 70 depending.
Does it burn the same thing?
Yes, well, not exactly, depending on the efficiency of your vehicle. That's why I can say your savings will be 70%. You know, some efficiency is better than the other. So between 40 and 70% of savings for an average driver. That's a lot.
Saving is good.
Yeah, it's a lot of savings.
Yes.
It's a lot of savings.
5% is it?
I'm telling you at this
Sure.
point.
It's a lot of savings.
Okay.
So, and in terms of bus deployment, we expect that in about 2 weeks, we'll start working with the different states and operators. We're going to have a few buses out there. The reason why those buses are there, because they are not enough, to be honest. Just maybe 500
the conversion should
of them.
Be better.
The conversion is a whole lot more. Is for those organizations to test CNG buses and then realize why they need to convert their older vehicles to CNG, right? That's the reason. But that will begin to impact your transport fare, your transportation cost at the bottom of the pyramid. But it will take a while. We will not get to what we call an appreciable impact until we get to that 250, 500,000 conversion level and begin to impact.
So we've covered the commercial users. We've covered, you said, the bottom of the pyramid.
Yes.
Let me take this call. And then we have a list of questions that he has not answered. Balogun has called in from Mushin. This is a topic that touches everybody. So I guess we all want to get more information. Yes. Welcome to the show, Mr. Balogun.
Thank you very much, Tokwe, and you ladies.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Your guest on the program, we welcome him and we appreciate what he's doing for us. When listening to a lot of things he has said, but I'm talking about the spread. When is he going to spread so that private cars too can get advantage of doing this quickly? I don't know whether that is possible before the year runs out.
Okay.
And the cost for doing the cars. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys, I thank you ladies too.
Thank you so much, Mr. Balogun. So, Mr. Balogun's question reiterates what Mr. Kehinde from Abuja had asked concerning the enough conversion centers and the speed with which we can convert.
Yes.
If so, can I just go and buy the kits?
This for regular individuals now?
For regular individuals, a lot of private organizations are already offering the ability for you to come in and get your cars converted. NIPCO does already. Bovas has started in Ibadan himself. And what we are saying is we are encouraging them that regardless of the government program, which is targeted at commercial vehicles, the private sector should step up and should design financial products to support that. Because if you are saving 30, 40, 50, 60%, you can devote part of your savings to finance some of these costs.
So do you have an idea of how much it will cost?
Yeah, so typical price today ranges between 400,000 and 750,000. Depending on cylinder. But let me do the math for you.
Include the cylinder.
Yes, include the cylinder. Let me do the math for you. 400,000. But you are paying 60,000 a week now for PMS. Now you're going to be paying 10,000, 15,000, and you're saving 45,000 a week. So in 10 weeks, you have recovered your cost of conversion. And then for the rest of the life of that car, you're saving money.
No, which is true. But as you know, mostly for most
payments, because I know a lot of people will not have that 400 to 700.
So a lot of companies, I know a lot of companies are already designing that for private individuals.
So there's a lot of opportunity. There are other businesses that will come up from this.
Exactly.
Which to serve as opportunity for those watching.
And there was a question that you asked about the model of your car, the year of your car. How does that?
Yes. So also there's conversion for almost any year, right? Even the carburetor cars have their own kits that are available to them. But of course, naturally, you don't want to burden an old car with a new kit. So the younger the car, the better.
New wine in old.
So I heard you said there are different cylinders. First of all, must the cylinder be in the boot? Can it be anywhere else apart from the boot? Because I know commercial drivers need space to load and all. Then secondly, the gas, wherever, do we have different sizes?
Yes. So we have 60, 65, 75, even 100-liter tanks, depending on, because of course, if you're a bigger vehicle, you need more tanks. Some of them will have 3 or 4 tanks so that they have more range. Yeah, so the tank, so when people ask me, what's the range of CNG, I tell them is how much tank do you have? And how much of your boot space are you giving up? Right? Some people
must be in the boot. Can't be anywhere else.
Some people put it under the seat.
It depends on how.
It's safe. It's very safe.
Yes,
so
that's the next
some of the commercial, if you look at the ICE buses, some of them, they design it to be under the seats, each of the seats. So you're not really taking the boot space. So depending on the design, and really we've had very fantastic experience with the fabricators here in Nigeria. They've been thinking outside the box and seeing how
it has to be that
position.
bulletproof tank.
I know, because I'm afraid, and it's safe. Because you know all the sort of incidents we have with the regular PMS.
Yes.
So we will not experience with this.
So again, I tell everybody, I say, look, if explosion is our fear, then please be afraid of getting into a PMS vehicle. Because it is almost guaranteed that whenever they get into an accident, they will explode. Because your tank is sitting under you. It's not bulletproof. It's fully exposed. The fuel will settle. So what happens is on impact and there's fire, boom.
We still have a lot more
CNG,
questions to ask you. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, I don't worry, I know we will get more phone calls. We are ready for you, but we just want to be able to give you more information so that you'll be eager to buy into this initiative. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. We've been discussing concerning this particular CNG. The Presidential CNG Committee Director has been with us, Mr. Michael Oluwagbemi, and we've been asking him questions concerning how the CNG benefits us. But during the break, a question concerning the business angle came up, and I know Mariam wants to dig into that question.
First of all, we're Nigerians. Is there money in this thing? Like for someone who wants to do business, if I want to invest in it, is there an opportunity for a regular Nigerian to invest, and can I make money
Break it down.
Yeah,
please?
I even like the way you started with we are Nigerians.
Yes.
Because I always say something that if the object of something is not known, then it will be abused. Our country, we are traders. Nigerians are traders. And if we want to make something work, then we must create trading opportunities around it.
Exactly.
So for me, the CNG sector is a new sector, and we have to understand that. We are creating a retrofit industry, number one. So what do I mean? These vehicles are being converted. There are going to be a set of services that will be provided to that sector. Conversion workshops need to be set up. I told you we need about 8,000 in the short term, probably 2,000 in the next 3 years to meet our goal of 1 million vehicles to be converted. Today we have identified maybe 123. Someone needs to set up these other ones or convert existing mechanic workshop, upgrade them to become, exactly. And from the government side, we are saying for those 1 million vehicles, we pay you money to actually install. So even if you have the government business, that can be your base revenue while you do the private sector.
I love that.
It's a new idea. And you give me royalty for that one. Then beyond that one is the issue of services. So, for example, I talked about this financial program. So we've seen a lot of financial services companies, banks, even fintech. They are coming to us, Bolt, Move, all these companies. They are coming to us and saying, we can provide credit. 6 months credit, 9 months credit. And they put a little fee on top of it. They are making money.
Yes.
Right? So somebody does that. Some people will make money from the ICT digital side of things. People are going to make money from tracking, from providing even carbon credit. Yes, to
analysis.
Yeah, they can track your carbon credit that you're generating, and then they will split it with you and make money on the upside. So there's a lot of opportunities in that side of the space. Now, the gas delivery, the distribution of CNG itself, retail stations need to be developed.
Yes.
They don't have to be standalone. They can be add-on to existing stations. The way you can go to a station and buy PMS, buy diesel, buy kerosene. They can be pumps now for CNG. And people are going to make money from it. There's opportunity for you to even have cylinder swap for some certain type of setup. For example, the same CNG we are talking about that is used for transportation is also utilized for big generators. So for companies that have 15 megawatts, 20 megawatts, we've seen companies that have stepped forward and said, okay, I can convert your diesel generators to gas. And then I can now do cylinder swap. There will be companies that will be doing the cylinder swap, transporting it. That's what we call the virtual pipeline network. There will be companies doing that as well. So there's money to be made there.
There's a huge value chain.
Upstream.
We not talked about how to now, finally offshoot into drop in price in the existing fuels that we do.
Yes, and these cylinders, are they all imported or are we making them here?
They are all imported and we need to change that.
So we need to also build the local market.
Production. These cylinders, if you put them in the cars, can they be stolen?
Not because they are anchored down and they're very heavy, trust me.
Just the same way they cannot steal fuel tank. If they want to steal, they have to break your car.
Very, very heavy. So that's the reason why we need to fix the logistics.
I have a question.
Yes.
We are flaring gas.
Yes, yes.
And this is supposed to help us convert those gas into financial benefits. Are we still currently flaring gas? And when do we foresee that we'll be able to stop flaring gas and tap this gas into the CNG that we really need right now?
Yeah, thank you very much. Very good question. We are currently flaring gas about 30% of what we produce.
Wow.
But even more so, people don't know that aside from flaring, there's also another waste going on. Injection. We inject gas back after we produce it and clean it. And we are injecting it back into the ground because we don't have anything to do with it.
Wow.
So technically, we have about 60%.
This is a major opportunity for us to
convert.
To convert would be...
Yes, to use. So only reality is like maybe today I'm really using maybe 40-45% of what we are producing. The remaining, either
a lot of our poverty has to do with waste.
Yes, everywhere, across agriculture.
And so this is a way for us to utilize. Again, you cannot talk about eliminating flare because sometimes the flare sites are far off. I'm a child of the industry. And if you go into the oil and gas industry, offshore, far into the offshore, you will see flaring going on because that is where they are producing. And to bring it onshore, they have to have a reason to.
But now we have a reason.
Exactly. What industry do you have onshore to do it? Now, kudos to the president and even his predecessor. There's been a number of projects now that have been developed that will allow us to push this gas from most of it being produced in the south today. Even though, by the way, gas can be found in more than 30 of Nigerian states. They find in Bauchi, they find in Nasarawa.
And doesn't need any refining.
No. So Nigeria is a gas country that happens to have some oil. We're a gas country. But the current place where it is being produced, we need to push the gas through the country. So like the AKK now, the AKK pipeline is meant to do that. And President Buhari was the one that commissioned that one. And we're hoping it will be completed in the next 1 year or so.
The mention of pipeline scares me because of where we're coming from. You know, and when you said about 30 states have it, I thought, okay, the logistics will reduce. You can do it in different states. But, you know, is it safe that, you know, will not suffer about that?
No, it's different. No, it's different. So oil pipeline, again, nature of oil, nature of gas, very different subject matter. If you breach a gas pipeline, you will not survive to tell the story. The person that did the breaching. Oil is different. You can figure out the time when the oil is not flowing, you breach it a little bit, you tap it. There's something we even call in the industry hot tap, where oil is actually actively flowing and you can still tap an oil pipeline. You can't do that for gas. If you do it, you say welcome to Baba. So
try.
You can try. Usually the case of breaching gas pipeline is related to terrorism. Not related to stealing it, because stealing it does not make sense. The person doing it has already given up hope and wants to die. But the way NNPC is now building this gas pipeline also matters. I've seen, if you have gone through that corridor from Ajaokuta to Kano, to Kaduna to Kano, you will notice that they are deeply buried, they are down in the ground, and they are doing a fantastic work of building a model pipeline for Nigeria to transmit the gas. But that's one. The other one is the EIJ, which was also recently awarded. The ELPS, Ibadan, Ilorin, Jeba pipeline, which will also push gas from this area in Lagos down this other major corridor I told you that extends all the way to Ilorin, right? That's a critical corridor for gas as well. But we also have OBOB. We have a number of gas expansion projects all across Nigeria that is ongoing now.
And this should actually help our power production. I want to find out, because we know that majority of the power we consume right now is based off the LPG. Is gas powered. And there was a time liquefied gas, and we had that issue one time where we didn't have power, and it was because they couldn't get gas to the turbines. But is it possible for, is it in the works for Nigeria, for the current gas turbines to be converted into the CNG gas turbine?
So actually most of the gas-fired turbines in Nigeria today are still natural gas, actually natural gas.
Oh, okay.
They are natural gas fired. The issue we have with them is delivering the gas to them through pipeline. You know, it's different from, a power requirement is quantum of, for the entire 1 million vehicles, we're looking at about 2.65% of Nigeria's production. Gas by itself can take 70% of Nigeria's production, because power can take 70%, right? And you now have urea and all the other things take the balance. So they have a unique problem when it comes to pipeline development, because pipeline takes time, you have to develop it, and it takes time. But now that they are doing all these projects, OBOB, EIJ, the idea is to push this gas into the country and unlock where the gas is currently. And that helps CNG. Now, to your question on CNG, what CNG does is that it provides opportunity for states that are far away from this transmission pipeline system to now have the gas you need. Exactly.
You can tap your own.
You can now do CNG gas-fired power plants. So Ekiti just opened a 5 megawatts, which when I sat with the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Professor Aluko, he said, look, before we used to buy diesel for the state. We used to buy diesel for the State House, we used to buy diesel for the court, we used to buy diesel for the university, for the hospitals and everything. So this critical infrastructure in the state capital. And we used to spend almost 500 million to buy diesel, and then they will steal half of it. You cannot steal gas, right? So they converted the state to a CNG captive power plant that now runs the state critical infrastructure. The same thing that ran in Lagos, by the way. Lagos also used to run on CNG as well before they now changed it to PNG, which is pipe natural gas. But the idea is that CNG infrastructure will then help far off states that are away from the pipeline system to now use the natural gas we're talking about. And let's remember, because of the constitutional amendment.
Anybody can generate power now.
Exactly. Yes. So this CNG thing, yes, is primarily focused on transportation, but as we build it out, the same infrastructure will be leveraged when it comes to power as well. And so I say it's a win-win for
So you have explained it in such a way that I see how it will look ideally.
Yes.
But could you tell us, like what do you suspect may be some of the challenges or pitfalls that we may face, and so that we are ready for it?
Yes. So the number one was the one you identified before, is the supply chain. Today we import kits. Today we import cylinders. Today we're even importing expertise. So it is the faster we domesticate
the knowledge,
the supply chain, and the knowledge, the better for us.
Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind that Nigerians are one of the smartest people in the world, easily. So I have no doubt. I've seen Nigerians contact me. I had one Nigerian contact me today. He's based in Houston. He said he has 2 CNG plants in Houston. He's a Nigerian American, but he owns CNG plants in America. So he said, I want to ship one to Nigeria. So Nigerians have the wherewithal to do it, but we need to bring it here.
Are there incentives?
Yes.
Because I was going to ask a question concerning importation of kits.
Yes.
And I know that once there's a monopoly issue, once you are licensing kits importation, then we have not allowed free market to take it. My Igbo brothers would flood us with kits if it is it free market for
it is free market, but of course we know that there are quality standards. So
we need to
the Standard Organization of Nigeria regulates the quality. But you must go for inspection, you must make sure that it's right, then you can import. Nobody's stopping anybody from importing.
Okay.
But what the president has even done, in December of last year, he made IDEC available to ensure that, which means that import duty exemption for the sector. So CNG kits, CNG cylinders, anything related to CNG and EV is import duty exempted. So which is great for the industry. Beyond import duty, beyond import duty exemption, we also got VAT waiver. So VAT waiver for the entire industry. So these are incentives.
CNG and EV, that's electric vehicles.
And CNG.
Are you including solar and all of that in that?
Well, they're a different industry, but
it's so expensive.
Yes, it's very expensive, and there are ways to cut down our energy and all of that.
At least now we should.
At least it's everywhere in market.
There's another one of converting all our dump sites into methane producing.
Definitely.
So that we can also convert. We've had a very, very interesting conversation with you, extremely educating, very eye-opening, and I'm sure that many Nigerians watching now would feel a sense of, the government is doing something, which is something we did not know. A sense of hope that there is, I just bought fuel yesterday, and I can tell you, I can't wait to convert. So we've learned there are other business models as well. Conversion kits, you can do that. You can set up training, you can import, you can do financial services. Listen to the show in detail and find a business model. There is money here for you. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Oluwagbemi, for bringing us so much information about what the president is doing concerning the CNG initiative. We will definitely bring you back to celebrate more milestone when you hit the 250,000 deployment, which is the goal. I wish you all the best.